Hello friends, welcome to the new channel Jack of JavaScript. So today we are going to see what is Angular and how there are lots of versions of Angular starting from Angular 1 to Angular 9, 10 and so other versions of Angular. So this is the first tutorial for Angular series. So we'll see what is Angular and why it is so famous. So first, if you look for any of the job descriptions nowadays, so Angular is mandatory in that. So in this whole whole tutorial we're going to see following points regarding the Angular. So first is what is Angular and why it is so famous. Then we'll see what is the difference between AngularJS, that is the first version, and the Angular, why it is called Angular, not Angular 2, 4, 5, 6, why it is not called Angular 2 or Angular 8 or Angular 9, right? Then we'll see why there is no Angular 3, right? If you see, there was Angular 1 version, after that there was 1.x, and then there was Angular 2, and after that they released the Angular 4th version, but they haven't released the Angular 3rd. Why it is not there, we'll see that. Then after that we'll see which version to learn first out of these all versions. Then what are the prerequisites to learn the Angular. Then we'll see what is TypeScript in Angular, what is JavaScript in AngularJS, right? What is the difference between these two? Then we'll see what is TypeScript actually, and how it is different from the JavaScript. So let's start with the first question. So what is Angular and why it is so famous? Basically, Angular is a front-end framework of JavaScript. We can say it is used for web development, right? So the basic thing is it was founded by Google, and it is, as of now, it is the most stable and complete framework for any of the web development, right? So that's why Angular has a good sustainability. It has good support from the Google community and all over the world community. That's why it is most reliable framework to work on, and it has provided lots of features which developers want. So that's why Angular is very famous amongst the developers. So Angular 2 basically was founded in 2016. It was in the September 2016, and there are very less developers as of now for Angular 2. That's why the demand is more, but supply is very less. So you can learn Angular and you can get a good hike on your salary. You can have good knowledge of the future technologies, right? After that, the community of Google, the support community, the developer community for Google is very huge, and it is a very long-term project by Google. So you can learn this for at least next 5 to 10 years, and there won't be anything which will replace this Angular, right? So that's why it's a good thing to start to learn the Angular. After that, they are releasing the new versions for every 6 months. So if you see the timeline, for every 6 months or every year, they are coming with a new version of Angular. Starting from Angular 2, they've released Angular 4, then Angular 5, Angular 6 with the latest enhancements in that, with the latest uh, bug fixing and new added features. So as of now, if you see 2020, this January 2020, they have Angular 9, and then Angular 10 is in the pipeline. So soon they will be releasing the Angular 10th version. After that also they are releasing the 11th, 12th versions after a particular time period. So all of the Angular 2 and onwards versions are same. The base of all these versions are same. So if you learn Angular 2 plus first, then you can cope up with any of the latest frameworks, right? So most of the web applications currently are moving to Angular because of the great flexibility for developers and with added features, right? So that's why this is what Angular is so famous. So it's a good time, it's a high time to start with Angular. So next thing is, what is the difference between AngularJS and the Angular 2 right? And why it is called just Angular, not Angular 2 or Angular 9 or Angular 10, right? So AngularJS is the first version of Angular. After that, it was actually AngularJS was based into JavaScript. After that, they released the Angular 2 version uh, with they have designed it on the TypeScript platform, right? But they named initially as Angular 2, but there was a confusion between the developers that which version to learn first. So that's why they dropped the number, the version number, and they called all of the versions after those Angular 2 are named as just Angular. So if they are releasing the 10th version, then also it is called just Angular, not AngularJS, right? So AngularJS was developed in JavaScript basically, and they moved to TypeScript platform for better flexibility, for better features, better enhancements, for uh, other features, right? So they added classes, modules, and object-oriented concepts into this AngularJS, and it became Angular 2 version. So it we can say whenever we'll see Angular, so it points to the Angular 2 plus versions. All right. After that, why there is no Angular 3 after Angular 2? Because they have released the third version with a library, and it was a router library that 3.x. So to avoid the confusion between Angular 3 and Angular 2, they skipped the nomenclature because of the nomenclature conflicts. So they started with Angular 4 after Angular 2 directly, right? So all of these versions are there, and in future also there will be lots of versions. So which version to learn first? So the basic thing or the bottom line is, if you know Angular 2 plus or the Angular which is based on TypeScript, then you can cope up with any of the frameworks which will be released in future as well. And currently you just need to understand the basics which are into Angular 2 plus or in Angular 2, right? So you can directly start learning with Angular version 2 or any of the basics of Angular irrespective of the current version, right? So if you want to learn the latest version of Angular, then start the basics of Angular. Later you can go to the advanced features of Angular. So as per the version, they have added some advanced features. So just don't jump into that. What are the advanced features? What is the difference? Just start with the basics, and you'll cope up. You'll get that advanced features as the time goes. All right. So what are the prerequisites? So there are, as such, there are no prerequisites. You should have the learning habit. You should have the thirst to learn. You should be eager to learn new things. So as of now, I would say these are the basics which are required for learning, which are prerequisites for Angular. So you should have good knowledge of HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. All of these are required. Even JavaScript is also required, but you should have the basic knowledge. It is not recommended that you should have advanced level of understanding. It is beneficial if you know this, or as the time goes with the this tutorial series, we'll have the understanding of all these concepts on the fly as on when required. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is required. After that, you should have a good knowledge of object orientation. So if you come from any of the backgrounds, like if you are a Java developer, .NET developer, or any of the PHP developer, so object orientation is everywhere, right? So it's good to have knowledge of these things for a long term, right? Then what is TypeScript, and they why they chose this TypeScript over JavaScript? So basically TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. TypeScript is nothing different. It is a superset, or we can say it is the advanced level of JavaScript, which has some advanced features such as optional static typing. Also it has classes, interfaces. One of the big benefits is to enable IDEs to provide a rich environment for spotting common errors as you type the code, right? These are the Advantages of TypeScript. We'll see this in details. What is TypeScript? It provides the optional, basically it provides the optional static typing, right? And it has added the object orientation into main AngularJS, right, with the class-based architecture. So these are the things which are regarding the Angular. So I think it is clear for you to have a start with Angular. So thank you so much. We'll see in the next lecture that how to start the Angular and what is the first step into the world of Angular. So thank you so much. Please subscribe if you like this video. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel, Jack of JavaScript. Thank you so much.